Right, so today in the shop, we're messing with the 48 again. So I've kind of made up a logo for Pratt's Workshop. I'm going to stick it on the side of the doors of the 48. May not turn out worth a crap, but we're going to give it a shot. I, by no means, am an artist of any kind. So what I did is I took a piece of poster board, laid out kind of what I wanted on the poster board. The circle P is actually my initials, CDP, stacked on top of each other. And, of course, Pratt's Workshop. So I took a piece of poster board, like I said, laid it out. And then I took an X-Acto knife and kind of cut out some reference marks. All right. And then I took a black Sharpie and kind of put those reference marks on the door. I did a little prep work on the door, kind of cleaned it up real good. I didn't do any sanding. Here's the thing. I do not want this to look pristine. I want it to look rough. I want it to look rustic, like it's been on there for a while. So imperfections are my friend. So I got some reference marks laid out. So the next thing I'll do is I'll pull the poster board back off. And as far as the circle P part, that's easy enough just to kind of paint dot to dot. And then the other, I kind of cheat. I might try and freehand it, but I believe what I'm going to do is I've got stencils, and I will put them on my reference marks, and I'll kind of paint where the stencils are, and then go from there. So let's get the poster board off, let's get some stencils laid out, and let's see if I can't screw this up royally. Hang on. Right, here's what we've got laid out. I use stencils, like I said, have them laid out around where I want them, and I have my reference marks inside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some plain Jane oil base paint, white paint, semi-gloss, and I'm going to take a brush and do a real dry brush. I don't want a lot of paint on the brush, just a real light dry brush. I want it to look, like I said, old, rustic. And like I said, if it peels off some, I don't even care if it peels off some. I will be putting a clear coat over the top of it to help seal it. So let's see what happens here and I get some of this brushed on. Alright, so here's what we got. Basically, just use the stencil as kind of a guideline. So what I do is I'll tape the stencil to the truck. And then I just took a really dry brush. I mean, there's very little paint on that brush. And I just kind of went through the stencil as a guideline. Then I peeled the stencil off. And then I went back through with a still really dry brush and just kind of did everything in. Now, I know it still looks really rough. I'm not done. I will take a black paint pen and I will outline around every single letter, and that will neaten up the edges of the white and make it look a lot better. So, like I said, I wanted it really light. Basically what I do is I dip my brush into paint just a little bit, and then I wipe most of it off. Like I said, I just want just a really dry brush because I want it to look faded and worn already. So now what I'm going to do is I'll work on getting the P done in, and that I can mainly do a little freehand on more. I think it's a little bigger area to do. I'm going to use a bigger brush, but I'll get back with you when I get that done in. Alright, so here's what we got so far. Now all I need to do, I need to let this paint set up, and I'll take a black paint pen and I'll outline all the letters and the circle P, and that's going to be good enough for me. I Like I said, I have no artistic ability whatsoever. That's why I had to use stencils to kind of lay out my pattern. And then I did kind of freehand it from there. I do not have a steady hand at all. I would not make a good surgeon. So once I take that black paint pen and kind of outline everything, that will crisp up the letters and kind of get rid of some of my little straggly paint lines. And I think that's going to be good enough. Ideally, it'd been nice to pay somebody to do it. I myself can't afford that. So I used kind of what I got laying around. I had that oil-based semi-gloss white paint sitting on the shelf. And I think it's going to work just fine. So we'll, once I let the paint get dry and I get the black outline around everything, I'll bring you back in. Right, so here's where we're at on the lettering on the truck. It's not perfect. I don't need it to be. I want it to look rough and worn and ragged. Matter of fact, I even took to kind of tone down the white paint just a little bit. I had a little bit of pecan stain, polyurethane pecan stain that I kind of put over the white just a little bit to kind of tone it down and dirty it down. So that's the driver's side. And we'll come around. That's the passenger side. So, it's not perfect. I don't care that it is. It's just good enough for me. And it's just a shop truck. So, I think it'll be all right. Anyway, like I said, I just used stuff that I had around the shop. Whether it lasts very long or not, we'll see. I'm going to let everything dry up real well. And then I'm going to kind of scuff the doors just a shade, just a little bit. And I'll kind of go from the body line here and just kind of do just a quick clear coat over the top of everything. Kind of seal it in. If it lasts, it lasts. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So, again, there's the passenger side. And there's the driver's side. So, I don't know. Good enough for me. Is what it is. So, all right. Thanks, guys.